Right, welcome students. This is the English 111 Writing Project 3 Argument Paper for Shaw University. I wanted to go over the prompt and format for this paper just to give students a clear understanding of what it is you need to do for this specific paper. So the prompt for this paper is that you will select a controversial topic, which obviously we'll discuss in class, on a topic that you would like to discuss for an argumentative style essay, okay? The format is that you're going to choose an audience for your argument, and obviously you're going to want to make sure that your argument, or your audience rather, for that argument, it's not going to be someone or an audience that is going to agree with you in normal terms, right? So it should not be those who are in agreement or strongly opposed to your topic. So not necessarily someone that may always agree with you. So, obviously you don't want to err on the side of finding a specific audience that's going to necessarily agree with you. It could be some, an audience that may not agree with, your viewpoint, right? You want to argue your point of view on that controversial topic. You're going to include evidence that you're going to find via research to back up your claims that you're going to make in your argument. You're going to include a rebuttal that discusses opposing arguments. You will cite your sources in MLA using the latest edition. You will write this paper in using 3 to 5 pages, not including your works cited page. The source requirement is that you must have at least 3 or more credible sources. And I always say, to err on the side of caution, make sure, because you have to have a reputation in this particular paper, I always say try to make sure you have at least 4 sources. Now, if you feel that you have, 3 good sources and 2 of those good sources can argue your main point, and then that 4th source can argue the other side of the argument, then go for it, right? But if you really, don't find enough information within 2 good sources, then you definitely want to try to have at least 4 sources. Okay? Now, I always say that for your thesis statement, you want to have a should, not, and I always call it a should because statement, and that's kind of my easiest way to kind of explain that. So this gives you a little bit of an example. And your thesis statement is going to always include your 3 reasons, okay? So this is the example given. Shaw University should update, and that's should, right? should update its technology because students have paid for the technology in their student fees, and that's reason number 1. You see it's in yellow. Reason number 2 is students need updated technology to prepare them for the workforce, and that's reason number 2. And updated technology would be a selling point to recruit new students, and that's our reason number 3. Now, as you scroll down, you can kind of see that our reasons are color-coded, and I try to put it color-coded so that it's easy for you guys to understand and also see right here on the page. So right here in our little outline in your paper, the first part, so obviously your first paragraph is going to be your introduction, okay? So your first paragraph will be your introduction. The first body paragraph is going to be your refutation. So that's this the Roman numeral I, right? Your second body paragraph, Roman numeral 2, right, is going to be your reason 1. Reason 1 being in yellow, students pay for technology in their student fees. And then you'll have your supporting pieces of evidence. And then you have reason 2, which is your Roman numeral 3, and then Roman numeral 4, which is your reason number 3, which is color-coded in purple. And then you, of course, again, all of these having your supporting pieces of evidence, because you have to have supporting pieces of evidence in order to be able to kind of break down and give all this information. Okay, now this is a great way, as once we get to the outline, and there will be a video for the outline as well, but this is a great way to break down this for your paper, so that way you're able to say, okay, this is how I'm going to break down this information. This is how I'm able to say, okay, I have all the information that I need for my paper, that I'm able to support my argument, and that I have enough information for my argument, so that you're able to, carefully and constructively defend what you're trying to say. So think of it that way as you are going through and looking for information for your argument, okay? And just remember that, of course, your refutation comes first. It is right after your introductory paragraph. And I know that sometimes doesn't make sense for students, but you always want to think of it this way. So you're starting with your introduction, you're introducing the information, and then you do come with your refutation, which is that opposing argument. So if I'm gonna be talking about a different subject or whatever subject I'm talking about, right? And normally I always use the subject of abortion, and obviously we all know Ms. Davis does not allow you to use that topic in your paper, right? So if you're using that specific topic, or, well, again, you can't, right? But if I was using abortion as my topic, if I'm saying abortion is bad, my refutation obviously has to be that abortion is good, right? So that's the opposing argument. So in my opposing argument, I would have to state the reasons why abortion is good, or how it could be used for women's health issues. Maybe they have to use abortion as a health reason, right? Or coming up with some other, obviously I would have to have two opposing arguments in there that show why abortion could be a good thing, right? And of course, we know we aren't able to use that one because those two things are not allowed as topics, and obviously those are in here, but we'll keep going. The refutation, again, should be your first body paragraph, and that paragraph is where you should describe those opposing viewpoints. In other words, for example, I would acknowledge the reasons why someone would argue that WCC does not need its technology. Okay, you may not write about the following topics. That's abortion, gun control, legalization of marijuana. We're not allowed to use religious texts as credible sources because under certain circumstances, excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied here, they're not viewed as fact-based, so we're not able to use them, but obviously it's not really my viewpoint, but we want to make sure we're using scholarly sources when we're quoting. Again, the paper requirements are 3 to 5 pages, making sure that your paper is double-spaced, 12 font, Times New Roman, MLA, of course, is what we're using. Make sure that you cite your 3 sources. This is exclusively written in third person, eliminating your contractions, and then of course using proper grammar. And all of this you will find in Moodle. So just make sure that you look at the paper requirements there. But I wanted to make sure that I posted this video so that way you guys would have that to come back and reference, just in case you had needed a better understanding of the assignment itself. If you have any questions, of course, as always, let me know. But hopefully this will help provide a better understanding of the assignment itself.